What's up, Ben? Sorry for the late start. They were doing the makeup quiz, which hopefully you don't have to do. But if you do, I'll make another form for it. Or you'll just redo it because you'll just print it out again and redo it. Honor code style. Anyway, we got a 5-person class. That's pretty good. Let's get started. We're almost done with the review, guys. I know y'all have been inundated with reviewing grammar and just listening to me rattle on using reuse slides to do this. We're almost done, though. We have to review 19 and touch on 21, I think it is today. And then on Monday, we're going to make a massive verb summary. And then at that point, we'll kind of just start focusing on 23, and we'll kind of go from there, and we'll just live in the present moment again, and we'll just dwell on the grammar past, the ghost of grammar past. Jack, I don't know if you're able to make a noun summary yesterday, but maybe you figured it out.
I got it. I got there like.
Cool. Okay. What is it? It's either 21 or 22. We don't really have to review too much. They didn't add too much. But yeah, so today and then Monday we'll do the verb summary. Then we'll kind of be caught up. That'll be kind of nice. We will have the first, let's see, grammar translation quiz next Friday. So that's kind of exciting. An actual quiz. They don't consider vocab quizzes. Hopefully these all went well for you guys. Tomorrow we'll do chapter 23. I'm just gonna pick 10 because I feel kind of mean. I'm forcing us to like learn 4 chapters worth of vocab in the span of a week. So that was kind of last week. But yeah, just 10 from chapter 23. I should be able to do it in like 3 minutes. Move on. We'll do some kind of Jeopardy. All right. So the thing we're reviewing today is chapter 19, which is expansion pack content for chapter 18. In 18, we get the passive verbs in the present, imperfect, future tense. But then, of course, we have 3 other tenses, and so we have to have the passive version of those verbs. Let's try to review real quick what these passive endings are, the present passive endings. Ben, what was the first person singular passive ending?
It would be sum.
Wait, no, not sum esse. I mean, what we talked about yesterday, these present passive verbs, they have their own pretty distinct endings, most of which have the letter R in them. No? The first one's just R. Anna, what's the second one?
Mm-hmm.
No? Well, so it's kind of OR, but it's technically just R, but like, I think of it as OR. The second one, that's somewhere. What's that? Where's that? No, it's RIS. Third one, anyone?
Yes. Yeah, no, it's RIT.
We want to have a T because it's like, it's still kind of OST. It's TUR, first plural.
Oramus.
Not MUS, but MUR. And then second plural is, Jack it off the calculator. Huh? No. Yeah, mini. Good. Okay, Anna remembers the weirdest one. That makes sense. And then not just TUR, but
TURI.
NTUR. Okay, so at first I was like, oh, y'all didn't remember any of that. That's okay. These things are gonna take a while. We're gonna get our summary sheet so you guys can like use that crutch-like for a few weeks and get used to them. But yeah, there they are. Most of your 2-year spent Latin has amounted to us learning random sequences of letters in the form of noun endings and verb endings. So I know it gets old, but at least they're pretty distinct. And they still kind of have the OST must tis NT that we want them to. This guy's weird, but he's weird in a way that yeah, that's true. That's true. He should be.
I will fight him as the final boss of Latin.
So how do we translate first person to the final boss one? What is he has 1,000 HP, so it's a pretty tough fight. And he has magic weapons. How do we translate a first person singular present passive verb? I
was
Anna. Not have been, because that's what we're gonna do now. I make it present tense. Make it present tense.
I am verb.
Yeah, I am or I am being verb. You don't have to use being, but you can. I am verb versus you are verb. Am switches to R. This is how it is. It is verb. We are verb, y'all are verb, they are verb. So the tricky thing is that it's just not just subject verb, it's subject then a helping verb. That's what makes it passive, because the verb is being exerted upon the subject itself. Passive, if you think of like usually it's like a subject verbing a direct object. With passive verbs, it's like we flip the direction of this arrow. Now the verb is happening to the subject, and there is no direct object. If anything, there might be a what? Anyone?
Indirect object?
What's the thing actually doing the verb in a passive construction? Not the subject, because the subject is being acted upon by a. There's no direct object. There's never going to be a direct object in a sense of passive.
Ablative?
Yes, an ablative of agent or means, right? An agent, which is with ab or off, or means, which is just like running into stuff for other kids. I'm out of board space. I want to keep this up a little more. This is what they're doing. Isn't that cool?
I remember that ET stuff.
They're going to quiz on that tomorrow. Everyone's got to start somewhere.
Yeah, but now I'm stuck fighting our enemy.
Dude, he is very powerful. I would not try to go up against him if I didn't have to. So I'm just warning you.
Only a 3.
Yeah, that's true. That sounds about right.
What? No.
Wow. All right, so y'all sound like you maybe didn't learn anything about passive verbs yesterday. No, I'm kidding. But now we're going to move on anyway and talk about perfect passive. So perfect passive, you don't need to know these endings for them because they have their own thing going on. What happens with perfect passive is that this is the first time over quarantine that we started using the fourth principal part of a verb, which is mostly pretty fine. Like these usually look more like the first two principal parts than the third principal part does. In this case, for this verb, they all look the same, but usually you can tell what verb a fourth principal part is coming from. It's usually pretty recognizable. So,
like sometimes follow.
Oh, well,
like Sestuli Latin.
Yeah, so yeah, there's some that are super weird that change like aggressively, even more than Summa Esse does. But most of them kind of stay about the same. And so we take this fourth principal part, which in dictionary entries is usually always like nominative neuter, ending in um, but that's technically an ending, and that ending can change to anything we need it to agree with the subject. So it's good we reviewed first and second declension endings yesterday, because that's what these participles are using. Just like those are the same endings that show up with perfect passive participles and what else? Future active participles and future passive. But anyway, these are not participles, so I shouldn't really use that word. It's just sometimes we use the word participle to refer to the fourth principal part. Don't worry about it, it's fine. So we use this fourth principal part. We make the ending agree in case, number, and gender, kind of adjective style with the noun it's agreeing with. And then the second part of this is that we have to whip out a form of Summa Esse, and that needs to agree with the person, number, and tense that we are trying to convey. And so you can usually spot these guys because they're in two parts. They're in the fourth principal part and the Summa Esse part. And when they are using just present forms of Summa Esse, that is the perfect passive, whereas I'm getting a little ahead of myself, where if they're using the imperfect form of Summa Esse, that is pluperfect passive, and if they're using the future form of Summa Esse, that is future passive, future perfect passive. Did y'all follow me through that? I hope you did. I barely did.
I kind of lost track after perfect passive.
Just know that there's kind of a connection, like present is to perfect as imperfect is to pluperfect as future is to perfect passive. I mean perfect, future perfect. Did that make it? Did that make it more clear? That's what this class is gonna be like this year. It's like I hear myself sometimes say things and I'm like, what? Like, how do you think you really think a kid actually followed that? Like, I barely followed that. But anyway, we'll try. So the translating is actually easy. Once you know you have a present passive, a perfect passive verb, translating is actually really easy. Do y'all want to use I was verbed or I have been verbed? Which one's better? What do you think?
I was.
Was? Okay.
Was.
That'll be the same as if it is a imperfect passive, but that's fine. So that'd be like bought, a bar, bought, Barris, Bator, Bomor. Anyway, that's fine though. If y'all want to translate perfect and imperfect kind of similarly. That's okay. You're allowed to do that. But yeah, so this is instead of I am praised, which would be present passive, this is I was praised. You were praised, it was praised, etc. It's really not that bad to translate. It's just kind of spotting it and being careful with the tense because it's not just going to be not perfect passive. It could be future perfect or true perfect passive. Let's do some examples. So Puella laudata est. McKinley, what verb is laudata from?
Will be
What verb is what's it from?
from laude, laudat,
Yeah, what does laudo, laudare mean?
loud,
To what?
praise.
Yeah. And so y'all see how they took it's from laudo, laudare, laudavi, laudatum. They took laudatum, the fourth pencil part. They made it agree with Puella. That makes sense. They're both feminine now. They're both singular, nominative. And then est also agrees with Puella because it's third person singular. And so this is perfect passive. Ben really doesn't like the old mascot.
Well, of course,
Now-
he's the final boss in Latin.
Right.
Then just defeat him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now on to
Defeated.
that.
Game
goose.
over. So who wants to translate Puella laudata est? What would that be? The girl was praised. Yeah, that's all it is. Or the girl has been praised. That's it. As opposed to the second example, that's just going to present passive. Well, would that be, just to be clear, anyone out loud?
Is praised.
Is praised. Yeah, so got to make it passive. Is praised. Or be just is praised. Fine. Yeah, so it's just a difference of tense. So this really isn't just that bad. It's just that it's like we have to spend time learning these endings just to find out that perfect passive goes about this in a totally different way. But at least like there's no way we could mistake a perfect passive for a present passive, you know? It's like they are very different. One of them has two parts, one of them is just one word with these endings. So in a way, maybe that's good. What is Puella laudata erat? Was being praised. So, well, no. So don't think imperfect. I know erat is the imperfect of s, but this will be yes, because it's what tense? This is pluperfect. So it is. That's what I was trying to say. The thing that sounded really confusing. That's what I was trying to explain. Is that student essay is in the imperfect, but it's with the fourth pencil part. Then that means it's the pluperfect passive. So the girl had been praised. Remember, pluperfect just uses had because had conveys that this is happening the furthest back in time that we can possibly communicate, even further than perfect tense. Literae scriptae erunt. I got this wrong in 8th grade. I actually thought this was. What do y'all think it means? So look, they took what is scriptae from, Anna? From scribo, scribera, scripsi, scriptum. So they took scriptum, fourth pencil part, made it agree with literae, plural, feminine, first declension, nominative, and then erunt is third person plural to match literae too. But what? Erunt is telling us that this is going to be what kind of?
Camera off. I'm the only one here. Yes.
Yeah, future. Okay, y'all, you know Latin better than I do because I looked at erunt and I thought this was still just perfect passive, but that would have been scriptae sunt. This is scriptae erunt, so it'll be translated as what, Allie? Yeah. So just like how future perfect active doesn't show up too much, future active passive won't show up too much either. But like once you know it, that's what it is. Translating it's really easy because these two helping verbs are going to be the same no matter what the what the subject is. It's going to be will have verb or will have been verb. Wow, it's 3 help. Dang, you got to whip out 3 auxiliary verbs just to translate a future perfect passive.
Is the reason why you don't know because you're a minion to that guy right there and you're trying to throw us off fighting him?
He was exerting confusion effect on me, which is a area of effect ability, and that's why I thought this was actually just present.
So you can confuse me into killing me.
Yeah, it's called confuse, right? Yeah, and he can charm enemies, so he can put charm on you and make you do his bidding. It's not good.
Never. I would fight him.
I steal eyes.
Yeah.
Be alive.
So, oh yeah. So notice how these all agree with one another. This is like the adjectivey part of it, and this is the verby part of it. If that makes sense, right? This is agreeing with the subject in terms of case number gender. This is agreeing in terms of person number and tense. So there is some overlap there. Okay, these are some participles to look out for. Whoa, Ben, he's gone now. Don't worry, you don't have to whip out your blade. So we assume for video, that's kind of weird, but it looks like the word visual. So I have been seeing. UO never even comes up in the first place, but it does have a weird fourth pencil part. Sumo, so let's not worry about it. It will never show up. Aldea doesn't even have a third pencil part. It does have a fourth, though, and it looks a little different. So I'll assume I have been dared. Ago, Octus, that's where we get words like act and active. I have, like, I don't know if we'd see this too much, because translating it would be very idiomatic. It'd be something like I have been maybe led, I've been done, I'm not sure. Gestus, it's a little different, so on and so forth. Tractus is fine, because I usually remember that word by looking at fourth parts like tractor. I have been dragged. Vivo's weird, because this is actually identical to the one for Winka Winkera Wiki Wikdom. I don't think we'll see Wikda soon, because what would that be? I have been existed. I have been existed.
I have been lived.
I have been lived.
It's kind of like I have been.
Maybe just I have been period. Yeah, like you wouldn't need the verb depart, maybe.
Or it's that stupid little mascot that's trying to destroy me.
So true. Anyway, so start with that's where we get the word status from, like status effect. Starting with RPGs. Jack.
I was just gonna ask, so what's that? So I can't remember. It's the verb that's always perfect. It's like began. It's like
Is it like koipi say?
yeah, something like that. And so wouldn't the fourth part of that just be koipi?
Yeah, I think so.
That's it.
Yeah. And is that one that? No, I think it does have a fourth principal part. It just doesn't have like a. It's almost like lacking a first and second principal part. Yeah.
And there's no one principal part for posture, right?
Yeah, because it's possum, pose, potui. So yeah, because what would that like? I have been abled. Ooh, I don't know. But no, it needs to be verb though. So yeah, I mean it makes sense that it doesn't have fourth and four. We can't even figure out what it would be in English. Allie? Yes, it is. Yeah.
And why should say I have been ragged?
I've been. Oh, it's supposed to be where?
Right now at the bottom, I have been run.
Oh, like I've been run ragged.
Oh.
You know that phrase? Like
Yeah,
that's the only that's the only example I can think of. Like what curse assume would be. I have been. I guess you would sometimes use it. I have been run. Like I've been run through
Or
something.
like you're run down.
Yeah.
Or like the ball who ran into the road because he wanted to get run over by a car.
Yeah.
George.
George.
This ball, in kickball, this ball kept on trying to get into the road.
Yeah. No, that's not good.
We named it George.
Yeah, we named him George.
I'm not sure if ancient Romans had the idiomatic language like run down, but they probably had something similar. I don't know if it was with that verb though.
Well, maybe they should have thought of that before they created this one.
Ooh, burn. Also in chapter 19, they give us the second and third use of qui qui quod. Qui qui quod is not always a relative pronoun in a relative clause. Sometimes it's roasted. Sometimes it's to ask a question. We've seen this come up. I don't think y'all have trouble with qui qui quod. I think y'all are weirdly good, like fine with all the three uses of qui qui quod. Notice there is a slight difference here. Quis will be used in an interrogative pronoun, and that doesn't show up in the normal relative pronoun qui qui quod. Anyway, this is when we like interrogative pronoun is when you ask an open-ended question like who is going to teach us today, whereas an interrogative adjective asks something like what teacher is teaching us today, and it would the what would agree in case number and gender with the word teacher, if that makes sense. So here, this example, quim librum legis, which book are you reading? It's agreeing with librum. Usually it's right next to it. It's really easy to tell. I don't think even on quizzes I would ask you guys, is this an interrogative pronoun or adjective? Just as long as you know how to like translate it, that should be fine.
You got a random capitalization.
I know, gender.
How could you do that to us?
No.
It's you work for the cat.
No, it's yep, true. I'm so sloppy. How did I let that get by? Quis librum to be dead. What would that be? So if it's quis, think that it's probably asking about a person because that's for masculine or feminine. Jack, what do you think?
Like, which one did you get?
So here, quis is not agreeing with librum. It's kind of hard to tell because honestly, when I first looked at this, I kind of thought it was.
Oh, because TV right?
No, quis isn't agreeing with anything here. Cool color coding then. Quis, it's going to be an interrogative pronoun.
Oh.
Because if it was agreeing with librum, it would have to be quim librum, like the one we saw last slide. Which book? So here it's Allie. not who gives, but who gave the direct object to you. Exactly. Who gave the direct object to you. And then they give us a relative clause example. Who cares? The man who gave the book to you praised you. That's what that is. And then we have an interrogative adjective pronoun, which is, or interrogative adjective, period. Which, as you can do with the color coding, is agreeing with Liverum. So it's which book has he or she given to you. Did he? That works. All right, and we got more practice and more practice and even more. But we're not going to do it. So keep in mind, it can change case. It'll be a little different. So cooey is going to be like to which friend in the case of a relative interrogative adjective. Some of these words are just too long. I don't want to have to say interrogative adjective any more than like once per day.
You say it.
Or like int ad.
It's like saying Martin Luther King Jr. over and over again.
Well, that's why MLK became popular. Yeah.
Yeah, MLK, because when I was typing that in my Latin thing over my history thing,
Yeah.
during quarantine, I had to type out the
You should have put it on your what?
ITR adjective.
INT. I would say int adj or int pro, and y'all need to know what those mean.
I was so mad.
You should have saved them to your Control V. So you just always Control V Martin Luther King
Wait,
Jr.
you did that
Yeah,
already?
you can. You can save it to your clipboard.
Yeah.
Well, why has no one told me that?
Well, no, I don't know. I didn't fully understand what a clipboard. Like Mac makes it very clear what your clipboard. It's just a thing that you have like constantly ready to be pasted.
Yeah, Windows does not make that clear.
Yeah, maybe not. Like
I have a Microsoft.
It's just
so-
like you press V and it comes up with this whole menu and then like clipboard at the top.
yeah, my Android phone actually makes it more clear than a PC does. But anyway,
Well, PCs are supposed to be the pinnacle of technology. Anger.
I used to think PCs were better than Macs. I honestly really like Macs. I feel bad about that. I do not like iPhones. Not judging y'all if y'all have an iPhone.
What's an iPhone?
It's just
We're
you know what
loyal to both Android and Apple.
yeah, I'm loyal to Android phones and MacBook computers. I got 2 MacBook Airs on my desk right now. One of them's not really.
I'm literally PCs and iPhones.
It's cool if you like iPhones when you're a kid, but there's a weird thing with adults where like they joke about it. They're like, "Oh, you have an Android? Haha, that's kind of lame." And like it's a joke, and yet they like actually mean it. Like adults like really think you're weird if you have an Android. It's like you're
I know
brainwashed at that point. If like you really think it matters what kind of technology you have in your pocket to do like dumb stuff like Twitter.
I don't care about what technology as long as it works.
Yeah, and the Android's fine, and it's like less than half the price. Anyway, big spiel. Here we got some dative versions of it, so it'd be like to which friend have you given the book? What's the other example? Here's the genitive whose book, or the first example, it's not whose book, it's of whose. Wait, what's going on here? Whose book is Cicero? Oh, weird. So it's possessive of the direct object. So in a way, it's, even though it's an interrogative pronoun, it's still interacting with another noun sentence. Versus of which book. So it's actually weirder to translate interrogative adjective. Of which book was Cicero the author? Okay, cool. Then dative. Then we got, I guess I didn't do accusative. Are there no accusatives?
Accusative stuff.
Accusatives would be like this one. Which book has he given you? Which direct object has he verb? All right, got it. That's the vocabulary that you guys just kind of showed me. I think. No. This is 19, so it's one chapter before that. But these aren't too bad. Let's see if there's anything weird here. Eodex versus Eodicium is kind of weird. Judge versus judgment. I'm surprised Eodicium did not come up in the Cicero reading. Scala Scalaris, we're seeing a lot of Scala Scalaris. It's kind of a noun version of malice. Then our qui quod quod, which we've already really had. It is the same as qui quod quod, mostly. A couple adjectives, we've even seen those. One adverb. No, that's not an adverb. 2 conjunctions. Yeah, then I agree with all of your arrows. We have 2 new prepositions. Contra takes an accusative. We haven't seen it too much.
Contra.
No, that's the only preposition. Adverb ion. We do have 1 adverb ion, then 3 verbs apparently. Yes, exactly, Ben. Very good.
No.
And then in chapter 21, oh my God. All right, we can tell what kind of mood Ben's in today. It is that time of the week, right? Like, that's why I'm apologizing about the amount of review, is because I promise we'll do some history or something next week as a breather. But it's just because we're trying to get through all this review. Because, like, I don't think you can really handle too much Latin for like, more than 3 days a week. So we're going on the 4th day, though most of y'all missed 1 day. So that's kind of why.
Well, I didn't miss 1 day. I'm
Well,
only one.
So But then we walked around outside aimlessly for half the time. In let's see, chapter 21, they give us a little tweak. In chapter 19 or 18, they were only giving us first and second conjugation passive endings. They give the rest for third and fourth in 21, but that's pretty minor. I mean, those are the exact same. The present's the same. It's just that future is really weird. Imperfect is the same too. Future is weird though because it gets ER. No, that's normal. Oh, fourth conjugation will get long I, R-I-S. Instead of E-R-I-S, big whoop. Who really cares? But I-O third will still get ERS. So really, it's just fourth is weird there. I don't even consider that weird. I-U-N-T-U-R, of course that's what it would be. And then again, it is I-E-R-I. That's not weird. It's not weird at all. So that's kind of a breather chapter that I think they purposely give so that you can like catch up and get more of a hang of the passive voice. Anyway, didn't we do this yesterday?
Yeah.
So yeah, you see the judge yawning, walking around, talking with others,
Oh, no, that's
wandering,
right.
sometimes even wandering around, sending someone to check the
Yeah,
time.
brain, right?
Yes, it is Cicero. This is Cicero's brain that we're looking at.
Cicero's not that much of a genius. He words Latin.
What about this? Let's finish. I think there's only 2 more sentences. Who can read this in Latin? Let's do a little bit of Latin, like actual Latin, not just me screaming at y'all about Latin grammar. Jack?
Haec causa vacet vero oratore qui potest animos udum movendi oram.
Good. What if I just like held my mask in front of my face all the time instead of like wearing
That
it?
would be much easier because I forgot my normal mask.
We're
this
all
morning.
in class. We might as well just take off all of them.
Wow.
There
But
you
then,
go.
like, if somebody can generalize that, once they said that, like, someone from the district would come, like, check them out. So, like, that's what makes you really feel like you're supposed to, like, constantly.
Oh, don't worry. They're
But
lying.
this makes
about
me feel like I have, like, tuberculosis or something. Like, I'm gonna, like, start coughing, so I have to just, like, hold this or something. But this,
And then just put one on the other side.
we barricade ourselves, yeah. But this way I'm not muffled. My ears don't feel weird. I do need to do the thing Anna told me to do. I did it a little bit, but they're not stretched out.
What we need is respiratory masks. That's what we need where we can just wear like those general breed, like Bane style
I
masks.
saw yesterday, I think it was on my fifth graders that I met.
Gosh, wouldn't that not work? Because, like,
Oh my god, Bane.
Technically, it's still face mask. So.
I guess, but you can still drop
Well,
it.
technically, this is
You're
a face
supposed to.
mask. This is a face mask right now. I'm still wearing the mask.
Yeah, you're blindfolded.
It's still above his nose.
Yeah, it's still above my nose, so I'm all good right now.
Well, McKinley, you're crazy right now. I can't believe you just did that. It's weird to see the bottom half of somebody's face. All right, let's.
That's
So,
it.
what is this?
This.
House.
Not house, not casa.
Oh, wait.
Cause.
Yeah, that is
Oh, so casa is house. So this,
Cards.
it's been cause for us, but in this context, for some reason, it's not really. Remember, he was pleading his case. Yeah. So just like within a legal context, it might be case. So
Face. Hairs.
this is the word we really need. Yeah, lax. This comes up a lot. Lax a
True oratory. Which is able to animals udum movendi.
well, maybe which, maybe like who, because we're talking about order.
Is able to move spirits.
Animal spirits.
Wait, no, it's wait. Animals is courage in the plural, right?
Yeah. Move the spirits of
Courage.
the judge. This is actually third declension genitive. That almost threw me off a little while.
Oratory.
So this is not the person. This is the thing that it ordered us. So orator, oratorist is speaker. Oratorionis is like oratory, the thing that they do. So he's able to do all this. How is he able to do all this? Yeah, with oratory or with speaking. Okay. What kind of ablative is vero oratore?
I would have been.
Nope.
I would have waited. Okay.
Nope.
I would have time when though. That's not
Think about it. He lacks true.
I would have a separation.
Lacks a true order. Yes, good separation. Whereas oratione is ablative of means. Good. Okay. Animos. Eudicium it's a direct object with a genitive. All right. This case acts true order. He can move the spirits of the judges with duration. Oh my gosh! Isn't this the last sentence? And this is almost it. This is way harder than the last sentence of the first paragraph. So let's see if we can do it the way we're just doing it. I don't think it's gonna work, but
This
If you see,
and it's technically will see, but it's conditioned. So let's just say if you see,
however, the erectus,
it's like the upright or
upright judge.
yeah. What does it say for rectus?
Oh, wait, to raise.
Yeah. So the raised up, the standing judge.
Who sees,
Saw or will see.
Uh-huh.
will have
Wait.
seen, will have seen.
And remember this can, let's see.
Oh.
So Videor has a very specific, it's not just to be seen, but to turn that in at the end of seen into an M. So who,
Seems to have taught.
remember the type of infinitive that we talked about yesterday? Yeah, it's a passive. So seems
To have taught.
not to have actively taught, but to have, yeah, been taught. So we got to make it passive. So seems to, how do we do that?
Been taught with things.
Not to have been taught. Seems to, appears to, I guess we can use have, to have been taught, not from, about the matter, about the affair, talking about like about the case. He's been taught about the case which is at hand, or is
Terrified.
not terrified. This is teneo teneri. Is held
Suspense.
in suspense. Just as, now I did not get this clause. I don't get this. Just as, they gloss this word. It's, we get aviation from it. Yeah, birds.
and Alvis.
Just as birds are sometimes held in suspense with, yeah, some song. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. I know I'm the teacher. Don't know what that means. So a bird is held in suspense when they have a song, or are they?
Suspense.
They know about something. They're taught about something when they have this song. I don't know.
Maybe it's like just like instinct, I guess. Like his instinct to be learned in the case as the bird to know what it's something.
That might be the metaphor. I kind of like that actually. That's good actually.
Darn you, Cicero.
And then I feel like I really need an actual verb. Where's my actual verb at this point?
or later artist.
I'm sorry? Not, let's see. Where are you saying? Oh, Gerentis? No, that's a blank active
Oh, that's a
participle.
participle.
Yeah, it's a verbing kind of thing.
It's
What else?
being
What else?
it.
What else? What else? What else?
Or being.
That actually is. That's second person future. All these verbs are the future tense, but we're not really treating them like they're future. And it just means to what? To recognize. Yeah. So who will recognize? You. So we actually will say this is future. You will recognize. Not the true signs, but the blank a. What can both? In what case are wary oratorus? So it's the signs of a true order, and
Labor or work.
No, wait, so it's
we can probably still get to it. Let's still get to it. So you'll recognize the signs of a true orator and the orator. What do you think? Not dragging. Sometimes this is act.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, or what is a? You go to a restaurant and you're like, I need to see the. So an orator who is. Wait, no, not menu. Sorry, I need to see the. I need to speak to the.
Wait, man.
Yes. So an orator who is.
Oh, good.
No. Remember, it's a present active, so it's verbing.
What? Managing.
Managing how?
Well.
Yes, managing well. Okay. Whew. We kind of got through it. I think I need to fix some of this. So, if you ever seem an excited judge who seems to be taught about the matter or is held in suspense just as a bird with some song, let's add a question mark to that. Let's add 3 question marks to that. You will recognize the signs of a true order, and the work. Let's see, of a true order and the work of oration. Let's move the participle here. Manage a true order, managing well. Wait, let's see. And the work of oration. Is oratorium from order or oration here? How do we make this work? So signs of a true order and the work Yeah. So the work of so it's plural. So orators managing well. All right. If you, however, seem so it's C, an excited judge.
Ben killed Cicero.
Okay. So if you, however, see an excited judge who seems to be taught about the matter. Anyway, he's talking about judge like what? Yeah, that's kind of like some like graphic design for like a Netflix show about like the legal system or something. But yeah, so because he was talking about the judge who was like lazy, who's yawning, speaking with another, wandering around, neglecting the words spoken by the order, versus the one who knows what's going on, so much like a bird with some song, as it were. That good old saying, lawyers who are like a bird with a song. Maybe. Yeah, I wish I had a note for that because I was like, what? I mean, that happens a lot in ancient Roman writing where it's like some kind of metaphor or turn of phrase that's like, it needs to be glossed for us because it's 2,000 years old, yeah.
That's like my great. And then the 30.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Groovy. All right. Y'all want to look at the last 4 minutes? Y'all want to look at what I'm showing the year 1 or 2 kids
Sure,
right
I can
now?
teach all of this to everybody.
McKinley, how long ago was the end of the Bronze Age? Let's say at the end of my time, like 1200 BC. That's vaguely the end of the Bronze Age. How many years ago was that?
That was
Give me the exact.
2,000,
Not 2,000.
800,
Not 800.
4,000,
You kind of overshot it a little bit by 800.
3,000,
3,000, and then how many?
29,
No.
12.
Yeah, 3,220 years ago. What happened around that time?
Well, people were using bronze.
Yeah, people were using bronze. The Mediterranean was doing really good. Egypt had been doing good for hundreds of years. The Mesopotamians near Tigris and Euphrates River, the Indus River Valley people, call them the Hittites. And then Greece was doing its thing, Mycenaeans, the Minoans and Crete. And then what happened?
The Greek Dark Age.
Yeah, the Greek Dark Age, that's true. And why did the Greek Dark Age start?
Well, no one knows, but it's probably pirates.
It's probably sea people pirates, yeah. They were probably Atlanteans coming up from the sea, attacking the Egyptians. This is a mural on the mausoleum of King Ramses III, depicting a battle that might have been with these people from the north. We don't know who they were. We call them the sea people. Maybe it was not just one group of people, but they went all up and down the Mediterranean. Everywhere you see a fireball was a city that got sacked around 1200.
Ooh, that's not good.
Kind of crazy. So Egypt was able to fend them off.
Sardis is the only one that's standing there.
Yeah, Sardis in Egypt. Like they're the only. So there's a one Hittite stronghold in the Egyptians, but all up and down the Phoenician territories. Yeah, this is like modern day Lebanon.
Fort Troy got sacked again.
Oh yeah, the Assyrians are okay, but like mainland Turkey, the Hittites, most of the Hittites are messed up. The Greeks are messed up all the way up north up here. Troy, that's maybe when the Trojan War happened. And yeah, we don't know why. It was environmental stuff mixed with maybe super strong pirates who were really good at fighting. Who were from
The Vikings.
The Vikings. Maybe they were from the Balkan Peninsula, people from the north. So why were they able to sail so well if they were from relatively landlocked Balkan Peninsula? Who knows? But yeah, we got the Trojan War. I gotta do this. Yeah, that's Medusa. That's
Oh, I thought that was Hector for a second. What? I don't know that happened.
After war. Are you on book 2 of Iliad now?
Yeah. I've already.
Nice. It gets so good
And now
around
I
5.
realize how sad the Trojans. All they did is all the Greeks have to do is ask the Paris, "Hey, can you please give us this back and we'll give you gold?" But instead, you got to burn an entire port city.
Y'all think the Greeks are the good guys in Iliad?
No, it doesn't.
Yes.
You do?
Hector seems like a really good person, and well, Hector seems like a good person, but everybody else seems like horrible.
So, but I said, are the Greeks?
Especially Paris.
Yeah.
It's like just like a spoiled brat.
So you think the one Trojan Hector is the only good guy in the whole poem?
No. I'm saying one of the only good people on the film.
Okay, yeah.
But I agree that Aeneas is good, but he wasn't even really a big part of the.
Right. He has little cameos. Who on the Greek side is a good guy?
Odysseus and Achilles.
Well,
Achilles
Odysseus wasn't
was
really like-
Achilles is okay. I mean, I don't like that he sent a bunch of men to death for
Nestor
honor.
was good.
That's just good. That's just good. Odysseus is good in that he is tricky and he lies.
Well, he seems like so far he seems like the only
Menelaus is
capable.
good that he's willing to go to war for his wife.
Yeah, that's good.
Is
even
that
though-
good?
That's not really good.
A whole
because
nation going to war just for his marital dysfunction?
That's his. He has to
Well, it
go
wasn't
there, or maybe
marital
just sit
dysfunction,
down.
It was Aphrodite and Cupid's intervention. He wasn't-
That's true. I just don't know if it's ever with a war. But that's how it goes, right?
It's not like they could have been like, hey, Paris, give me one.
There's a game about this.
This
Where?
is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I only rented it once. I should play it more.
I
Wait,
want
there's
to.
a-
I'm gonna
there's a
play
site
it.
for
This looks
Odyssey.
cool.
Yeah, it's set in Greece. And this is like a very authentic depiction of ancient Athens. It's seen a Parthenos, the Parthenon right there.
Wait, you play on-
I just found this on Google. I rented this when it came out years ago when I first started teaching y'all for a couple of weeks. Mr. Chartier, though, platinum this game. He loves Assassin's Creed. I should play it again. I don't like the combat in this game, but like it's a really realistic version of
Well,
Greece.
I like games where I'm like, oh,
I think you're gonna see from what the eagle was seeing. It's just a way to get a bird's eye view, literally. And I'm telling them about Homer, blah blah blah. I gotta do this one more time to next class. I got this stuff. I can sell it. Make it believe.
recreation myths. Okay, so these big ideas came into play. Earth, universe, spit out the gods
Yeah, then we got the second generation of the gods. I gotta tell them about how Saturn was eating all his kids with Cronus,
because he's a psychopath.
right? And
Oh, no.
then we get the Olympians, the main Olympians. Oh, I need to add Mars and Aries.
What's open his stomach, goes out, and shatters his.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of cool. Let's see. So somebody's doing something on Microsoft Teams. I got to find a picture of Mars or Aries. I didn't put him, and I forgot to put who else? There's some other.
Hercules after he died.
Well, there's a lot.
Yeah, but I'm trying to show them the main Olympians.
Wait, did you get
Here we go.
Hestia?
I did get Hestia, but it's like she has no stories, you know. Like there's
That's the one who, no, that's not the one. I'm thinking of the one that's going out one by here, right over there.
That's Eros, and she's that goddess.
Yeah, and I can tell why, just because she didn't get a bite to a car, she's like, screw you guys.
right.
It's like some genius, though. Like they're all competitors with most people. So, did you get Persephone?
No, she didn't seem quite important enough. Like this to me are the younger Olympians that matter. Now that I've added Mars, but I feel like there is one I'm forgetting. He's pretty important.
All he does is shoot people. He's like, yeah, and also he tricked this poor girl by punching him into the like, yeah, come.
Isn't Dionysus supposed to be like the
Yeah. I mean, these are all major gods. These are just the younger ones compared to the original 6 Olympians.
The only god I see as actually good is kind of Athena, because she's kind of fun.
Yeah, Athena's sick. She's my favorite god for sure. She's cool, and she's in Iliad and Odyssey a lot.
I like her in Odyssey.
All right,
She
Ben.
actually has
Have fun in
something
math.
to be there other than,
Okay. See ya.
Bye.
well, I mean, the reason I